Let's go over just a little housekeeping. I want you to understand my vision here. I deeply appreciate your being part of it. Appreciate your being on my list. You get there generally by buying stuff. I deeply appreciate that. And again, I have been wanting to do a weekly free webinar series, for lack of a better name, for a really long time. And I've just been so busy, I have been unable to just really clear the deck to where I could commit to that, because I didn't want to tell you that I was going to do this and then crap out after a week or two. I wanted it to be something that I could really commit to. So I'm feeling good about it. All right. I rearranged my schedule. Mondays, 3 o'clock Eastern time. I live in Eastern time. 3 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to have this webinar. I will send out, just as I did this weekend, I'll send out a couple of emails over the weekend. Hey, here's the next webinar. It's always going to be Monday at 3. If you registered for one, I'm going to try to keep it a rolling thing, not to spam you. I don't do that, but just to make life easy for you. I'm going to try to keep it a rolling thing so that you don't have to re-register. However, technology being what it is, I'm still going to send you that that notification. Okay, so you may try to register and it says you're already registered. That's totally cool. I could drop the ball and forget to roll it to the next week and just screw up. It happens. All right, I'm a seriously busy guy. But anyway, my vision for this, I wanted to create sort of a really safe place where you and I could kind of sort of talk. I know this is me talking and you listening, but you do get to, write me stuff, right? And just sort of see where you are, answer questions. I will not bullshit you. I will not tell you anything. If I can't answer a question, I just won't answer it. It'll just say, hey, I'm not the guy for that. Having said that, and I've got a bunch of junk up here open in front of this, but if you read the Bubble sales letter or any of my recent sales letters, you do see a picture of me. That is me. And you can read here, this is exactly all about me. And rather, that first paragraph is exactly all about me. I have been making a really nice full-time living doing this stuff since 2010. This stuff is defined as, for me, offline and online marketing. And I've been doing this whole thing either part-time or full-time since 2007. And I got a lot to share. Create a lot of products, work with a lot of clients, know a ton about a lot of things, don't know everything. I don't know everything about anything, and I don't know anything about some things. So if you happen to ask me something that I don't know anything about, I'll just say, hey, I'm not your guy for that. Okay, so again, cool beans, that's what we're doing. Now let's talk about like how you can get access to all this stuff without making this really hard for yourself, so that if you want to, you can skip a week, or if you do skip a week, you'll have all this. Right now I'm gonna do this through YouTube. And if you will just subscribe to my channel, there's an enormous amount of content on my channel, which is just amazing, right? I mean, seriously, I know it's my channel and all that stuff, but there's an enormous amount of free content there. If you will subscribe to the YouTube channel, what I'm doing, the idea right now is to record the webinars, which we're recording this webinar, download it. I got to cut out the first few minutes where I'm sitting there asking you if you can hear stuff and stuff like that. And then we'll pop it up on YouTube and I'll put it in a specific playlist. All right, so I just sent you the link where you can subscribe. Let's look and see what that's going to look like. This is a different browser. I'm not subscribed to my channel. I'm not logged in, apparently, or maybe I am, good Lord. But anyway, if you take that link that I just sent you and you pop that in your browser and you go here, and you will see this back box, and you hit that and it says subscribe. After that, there's usually a little bell icon. If you want YouTube to, you don't have to, but if you want YouTube to actually notify you when I post a new video, then you can click that little bell icon and it will notify you. Okay, so that's how you subscribe. Cool beans. Right now, I'm starting out by doing this through GoToWebinar. I don't think that's totally the best platform, but that's a platform that I am very, very conversant with. I've done like 40 million webinars. I'm kind of sort of thinking, guys, I'm just going down this list here. I'm kind of sort of thinking that maybe YouTube Live might work a little better because it will give us more of an interactive type thing, a more in the moment type thing. There's something, I use YouTube Live for pre-recorded videos. That's kind of funny, but you know, I just need to play around with it some, because the last thing I want is you to take out your time out of the day, get on here and not have a great experience. That's the last thing I want. So I may switch this over in a few weeks to YouTube Live, or we may try it and we may all decide, well, God, that sucked. I don't know. I'm just letting you know this is a work in progress. Okay, this is not a product. You're not paying anything for this. This is just a passionate idea or an idea that I've been passionate about for quite some time, and finally able to actually pull pin and fire this thing. So let's go over a couple of little things, and I want to open this up. Think about questions, stuff that you want to know. Matthew, this actually is free. I mean, it's just totally free. It's just because I just love teaching people stuff, and I know you know that. And guys, there is going to be a little more housekeeping front-ending this webinar than normal. Normally, we're just going to dive right into it, and I'm not sure that I have the best way for us to communicate, you know, because I want it to be a question and answer type thing. I don't think I'm going to get to everybody's questions. I think I don't know what's going to happen, but my guess is we'll hit on a couple of good questions. I'll talk about that, just give you my 2 cents. Again, recorded, pop it in YouTube, put it on the new playlist, and then you will have that as an asset that you can get to forever. But for today's webinar, there is just a little bit of housekeeping that we have to talk about. Yeah. Couple of other things. If you bought Bubbles, and again, this is the sales letter for Bubbles. I mean, if you didn't buy it, let me know. I'll send you the link to it. We've made some major updates to that software. So, and I've sent out an email to everybody who bought it. I don't know if it's gone out yet today or not. I think it might have. I'm not sure. But anyway, without boring you to death, I do want to talk about a couple of little things there, because I'm just really excited about the level of support that we're giving the software, and also we got some cool creative stuff going on. So this is just my developer sent me a list of stuff that we had upgraded. I'm going to talk about this very briefly. Then I'm going to talk about our quick sale that we're having the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, where you can buy all our products at their original prices. And then we are going to get into the meat of this thing, which is some Q&A, and we will see what happens with that. So, Bubbles, support for custom post type. Look, if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. It's going to be fairly meaningless to you, but some people use those in WordPress. Some themes, you know, kind of heavily rely on those, and Bubbles wasn't working with that, so we fixed that. That's done. Custom text radio. Now, what that means is, see where it says, Matthew, look at you. Just bought. Matthew just bought Bubbles. Okay, see that text there, just bought, and in a minute, that's why I have the sales letter up, because I wanted to talk about this. In a minute, another bubble will appear, and you'll see that same text in the middle. That middle text, you know, you had in the original Bubbles, you had, I think, 3 options. Look, Ulysses just bought Bubbles. Thank you. Okay, that middle text, you had about 3 options, which was just bought, just subscribed, or just downloaded. I think I'm not looking at the plugin right now. I really wanted it to where you could put in your own custom text in the middle there, right? So you could say, like, if you had this on a client site and the client was a dentist, then you could say Clovetra just made an appointment. Clovetra just called to make an appointment. So-and-so just got a new, you know, hairstyle, or something like that. I mean, this, I'm freeforming here, guys. This would be according to the client, or according to your website. Matthew says, damn, that's killer. Yeah, that was my main. I didn't want to stop the train and do that before we released it. But I knew that we were going to do that, but I didn't want to promise it because my programmer said, yeah, like 99% sure I can do that, but I just reached nirvana. I mean, tell me about it. That's cool. Now that makes this thing a lot more massageable for, if that's a word, for the kind of website that it's on. Whether, I mean, it could be an affiliate website with I don't know. Okay, so it's an affiliate website with a bunch of videos talking about Amazon products. So you could say, Roger, you know, just checked out another video, just viewed another video, something like that. You can play around with this. You could even put two different buttons, you know, you can even clone your sales pages or your pages. If you have some split test software, then you could split test this and see which one's working best for you. That, to my mind, was a seriously good improvement right there. So that's what that's about. If Bubbles quit working for you, you know, you installed it, you licensed it, and it was working, and it just like hell, it just quit working just right out of the blue. It had a little problem in the programming where it just decided to unlicense itself. So we fixed that. You shouldn't have any more problems with that. Plugin description, y'all don't care about that. Loop options. So the way you use Bubbles is you upload a list of your buyers, of your subscribers, et cetera, and it goes down through there and loops through it randomly. It's not top to bottom. It's a random thing. It, you know, chooses from those, but after it's chosen all of those people in a random order, you can have it quit, or you can have it start and loop back through. Of course, since it's random, you're not going to have everything in the same order. The reason you might want to have it quit is this. If you have a website and you're selling something, and let's say you just have a very few subscribers or very few buyers, it's going to look stupid if you say, Roger just bought, Roger just bought, Roger just bought, Roger just bought, right? Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a tip-off. It's going to look like, hey, this is just about as fake can get, right? So you might want to just have it go through the list and quit, and so that you don't have the Roger just bought thing. Yeah. Okay. So that issue. And Matthew, I think you're bringing up another issue of the fact that it could choose the same and since it's randomized, it could be choosing the same person. I mean, just statistically, it can choose the same person twice in a row. We're looking into that. I understand it. I know how to fix it, but that may be. I'm not promising, guys. You know, I didn't code it, so I can't promise for the person who did. But that may be something that we address. Also, extra slow setting. We had a couple of people say, "Man, this is really cool. It's awesome, but it would be really nice if you could slow it down even further." It's got an extra slow setting now, which is, if I haven't looked at it, I was just told this. It's got a slider, I think. So it may not have a slider, but it should have a slider where you can go from like super duper slow to just kind of slow. Okay, in other words, you can choose the slowness. And yeah, so the Roger, that's a fabulous question. Hold on one second. Let me get through all this, you know, and we will get to the meat of it faster next week. But that I love that question, and we'll hit that as the first question. So guys, Roger just popped in a fabulous question for our Q&A. I'm loving this question deeply. Stuff that you want to ask me, pop it in. Just go ahead and start writing and pop it in. I'll get to as much as I can within 30. We may go 10 minutes longer this time. I'm really going to cut it off in the future at 30 minutes because I'm like phenomenally busy, and I know you are too. So if you got like a major question that I don't get to some week, let me know in support, or just come back and let me know, and I'll get to it next time. Okay. So The version, this is the version that launched 1.0.1. The version that contains all of these upgrades is 1.0.3. And if you go into your WordPress site, you can go to plugins, and it should have a little notification there that it needs updating. It will tell you the version number on that page that lists all your plugins. If it doesn't, if it says the wrong version number and it doesn't have a notification that it needs updating, which does happen sometimes, then you, underneath the description for the plugin, it says check for updates or something like that. You can click on that and it will ping our server, and it will, if there's an update, it will pull down the newest updates. If you have any problems with any of this, guys, hit me up in support, okay? Our goal is to create really, really cool, extremely well supported marketing software for both offliners and onliners. And my goal is for you to build businesses around this, all right? So that's the overall goal. In other words, like I said, I've been doing this since 2010, and Matthew has been on my web, and some of the other folks here have been on my webinars since, I'd say, about 2011. I ain't going anywhere, God willing, okay? But I'm not purposefully going anywhere. I'm here, all right? So that's the deal there. One more quick thing, and then we will get down to questions. I decided to have a July the 4th sale. So this is going to start tomorrow, the 3rd. We'll just start it off at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And this is basically going to be all of our products reduced back to their original launch price. So these are all of our current products reduced back to their original launch price. If you, and all of them currently are quite a bit more than their original launch price. But if you missed out on something, then I will be emailing you this page. Let me just copy this and pop this in here. You can just check that out. Don't buy today, though. You'll be spending way too much money. All right, wait until after 11 o'clock tomorrow, and you know, buy the other stuff that you want or that you need. And I'm not going to sit here and read through everything. You know, we've had enough housekeeping stuff, and this is not a pitch webinar, okay? This is me trying to help you. But you want to see the sales letter for each of these, just click there, look at the sales letter. If these have software associated with them, there's always a video that walks you through how the software works. So let's get to Q&A, and I promise next time there's going to be a whole lot less housekeeping and a whole lot more Q&A time. I want to get to Roger's question because I'm loving this question. It's central. Any other questions about all this housekeeping stuff? What is this about, Lee? Why are you doing this? Any of that stuff, let me know. And Roger, I'm going to read your question out and dive into this. And the rest of y'all, I had a few people send me some questions, and quite frankly, I need a better way to communicate with you back and forth. We're working on that. It's a work in progress, guys. But I may have time to get to Roger's question and a couple of those. So type in your questions, and Roger, we're going to dive into your question right now. So let's get, well, we'll just leave this here. Roger says, the one thing that I find challenging is the fulfillment of services to clients. Yeah, amen to that, brother. I would like to find a product or a way of fulfilling services that leaves me free to sell. That's key. The one thing that I find challenging is the fulfillment of services to clients. I would like to find, I think that's a repeat. Okay, so here's the deal. Roger wisely, Roger, if I misinterpret this, let me know. Roger wisely wants to focus on selling, okay? And like it or not, so this is an offline question. Like it or not, you guys are salespeople first and foremost. I mean, if you don't do the selling, nobody's going to do the selling, and nobody's ever going to call you, and you're never going to make any money. You must learn to sell, and you must. And I've done some webinars on this year, usually in my advanced coaching stuff. in general, you need to be spending about 70 to 80% of your time just selling. Okay, so selling would be defined as prospecting. It would be defined as following up, doing sales presentations, talking to clients after you deliver whatever the product is, and then upselling them to other stuff. So all of that stuff, that's selling. And that needs to be 70 or 80% of your time spent. But Roger has a really, really, it's not a bad problem, but it's just a problem that I had very early on. Roger, so, like I said, I started doing this stuff in 2007. Found out about offline marketing in probably about 2009, started dabbling in it, got some clients, and got to the point where I felt really comfortable about quitting my job. And man, it wasn't but a few months before I hit a freaking ceiling, exactly in income, exactly the way you're talking about, because I was very disciplined. I'm not sure how good I was, but at selling, I think I'm good, but I have a rather large ego. But in all fairness, I was very disciplined about the prospecting, and I had to make money. I had no choice. Okay, I mean, I had no plan B. And if any of y'all ever heard my story, and so I started landing clients, and it did not take long before I hit a freaking ceiling. Let's do this. Let's kind of make a little place here where we can write some stuff down. So that's the issue. Okay, so you can get into so many issues. You can get into feast or famine. In other words, you spend all your time prospecting. You get a good one, you do the sales presentation, they love the idea, you're doing it, but then the prospecting drops down, and then it's all done. You get paid, you got some money, this is cool, this is working, except holy shit, I don't have anybody to sell anything to anymore because I haven't been doing any prospecting for a month, right? That kind of feast or famine thing. Or, and that's usually the way that plays out. Or another thing can happen, which is you're just not doing enough prospecting because you're spending so much of your time doing stuff, right? So, and it's, the trite, unhelpful answer. I actually emailed a guru about this myself, like right after I started. Like I said, I hit a ceiling really fast. I mean, I was doing okay. I just knew I could be doing a whole lot better. And I actually emailed a guru and said, I asked exactly the same question. And he said, well, you need to outsource. I mean, seriously. And look, I mean, it's fine. I didn't pay him any money for that bit of non-advice. But that's a little unhelpful. I mean, outsource what? And really, the whole idea of just outsourcing everything, Roger, is I can't. Roger says also he's not a technical guy, which actually, Roger, is a blessing and not a hindrance, because I can be a technical guy. I just don't enjoy it. But so yeah. So let's talk about how to solve the problem, because the trite answer is, oh, just outsource stuff. I mean, what you're going to end up doing if you just willy-nilly go off and outsource stuff is you're going to be outsourcing crap that doesn't matter. Okay. And so you're going to be taking the money that you're making and you're going to be spending it to pay someone to do crap that doesn't matter. Okay. And the only crap that matters is crap that makes you more money, right? In other words, you're leveraging, but you're leveraging a dead horse. Who cares? It's not going to go anywhere. So this is really like when I started to have, I mean, I couldn't figure out how to do this. Nobody would tell me and all that stuff. And I just thought, just like I've always thought, well, I'll just kick back and solve the problem myself, which I did. So let me just write out my solution to the problem. Sell only stuff that's really easy and simple to fulfill. That right there is 90% of your issue. Okay, Roger, can you tell me what you are selling? Okay, just pop that in there while I'm talking. If you sell stuff that's really easy and simple to fulfill, a bunch of things happen. Now, this might not be Roger's problem, but first off, your client will actually understand what you're selling, okay? All right, so that's a huge benefit because, you know, when you go talk to Mr. and Mrs., you know, Sticks and Bricks business, been in business for 20 years, you know, the lady that owns 5 hair salons, the guy that owns 4 restaurants, you know, those kind of people, they're making good money, they're ready to go, they need help, but they're not hip to all this new stuff, right? Okay, I mean, so if you're spending a lot of time talking about things that no one understands, absolutely, James, I'll be happy to do that. If you spend a lot of time, and James, I'm not trying to sell you anything here, okay? It's just that I've got this actually listed on a sales letter, I think. I think it's on the sales letter. If not, I'll be happy to share it with you. Yeah. No, I just allude to it. I just allude to it. Yeah. Okay. James, yeah, I will not leave you hanging on that. Where the hell's my thing? Okay. So number one, if I got you, Roger, I'm gonna read that out in a second. Awesome. So number one, you know, if you're selling stuff that people, you know, where there has to be education, where somebody has to be kind of hip to internet marketing, that in itself is a problem. That's not answering the problem that you asked me, but that in itself is a problem. I am a huge believer in never explaining anybody to anything because I never talk to them about anything that they don't already understand. All right? I mean, I don't care. You know, a dollar is a dollar is a dollar, really, other than it has to be really ethical. I could care less about how I get it. All right. So if I'm selling something that's, so Roger's selling video rep management, SSL. I'm not sure if SSL and websites are 2 different things, but I mean, I know what they are obviously, but I don't know if in what you wrote they're 2 different things. But SSL stuff, in other words, guys, making sure that your website says HTTPS as opposed to HTTP, and you know, Google Chrome doesn't have a fit when it's all cool, buddy. I got it. It's, you know, Google Chrome doesn't have a fit when somebody lands on your website and says, do not go there. This is, you know, very bad, and all that crap. And then, you know, your average person just thinks they're about to get a virus, you know, from some mobster in, you know, Moscow or something, right? So that's what the SSL thing is about. And then websites. Okay, so let's look at Roger's 3 things: video rep marketing, SSL, and websites. I mean, SSL, you know, the business owners I talk to, I mean, just don't really understand that. I mean, you can point and say, this ends in HTTP as opposed to HTTPS, and that's bad. I mean, you can do that, but I mean, do people really believe you? Do they understand the real importance of that? Not really. So it's a great thing to sell. It's more of a, James is starting to answer your question. The SSL thing, to my mind, is more of a, I mean, it could be a front end, you know, foot in the door thing, but I like that more as an upsell because I can say, hey, by the way, you know, you need me to fix this other issue too, right? When they've already been sold on me and already trust me. And video rep management, I mean, you know, I mean, people are, that's kind of between the two. Do you see, yeah, do you see that, do y'all see that the SSL is just kind of like really esoteric and it's kind of very techy, and your average business owner isn't going to really get that automatically? They're not driving around in their Mercedes thinking, Jesus, I wish somebody would fix my website because it doesn't say HTTPS. I'm guarantee you they're not doing that, right? Rep management, you know, websites, selling somebody a new website, I like that. It's very labor intensive. It's very communication intensive, okay? Because then you get into another issue, which is selling people custom stuff. And that's part of the issue here, Roger. I don't sell custom anything. I mean, I'm like Henry Ford. You can have any color you want as long as it's black, right? So that's part of the issue. For me, video rep management is kind of between the two. I mean, it's you can have somebody that has a bunch of crappy Yelp reviews, right? Cookie cutter, James. Absolutely. Amen to that. Hand on a stack of Bibles. That's the way to go. You can have somebody who's got, crappy reviews and stuff like that. What's the video going to do for it? I mean, there are a few dots, there are a few dots to be connected there, right? I mean, how is it will, but explaining to somebody how the, good video talking, I mean, if this is what you're doing, the positive video is going to mitigate that negative Yelp review. I mean, if that's how you're approaching this, there are a bunch of ways to approach this, but if that's how you're approaching this, I mean, it's a little bit of, when I talk to people about that, which I don't often because I avoid talking to people about things they're never going to understand, I get that blank look of like, Lee, what the hell did you just say? That kind of thing. Okay, so Roger, if what you sell, video rep management, SSL, and websites, all right? Yep. Roger, I would go with, of those three things, and James, I'm going to tell you what I sell. I sell a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to tell you some good things to sell, all right? But Roger, I would start out selling websites, but I would not do custom websites, okay? Now look, guys, you can make it look like you're doing a custom website when in point of fact you're not doing a custom website, because you can have a page where you showcase, I don't know, several themes and stuff like that, and then have your client pick 1 out of 20, something like that, right? And there is a little customization. If you're smart, you're gonna charge them more money for a little content that comes along with it. Well, just go to Fiverr and get somebody to write the content for you and stuff like that. That's doable. But this whole thing of, can you move this over here? I don't really like that yellow, stuff like that. Screw that. I do not get into that. I did at the beginning, and that's why I hit my ceiling, because I was spending all this time. I was getting paid for a stock website, but I was giving custom website service. Does that make sense? So the only way to deal with that issue, Roger, is you need to get paid for custom website service. That's a $5,000 or $10,000 per website deal right there. But if you're going to charge less, then it's got to be, you can have any website you want, except it's got to be one of the 20 on this page. All right, so that kind of thing. Just, choose one that harmonizes with your logo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then within that process, Roger, you've got to manage the customization. Okay, so you got to totally manage that. So it's called scope creep, right? Okay, no scope creep. That avoidance of scope creep, in other words, well, Lee, I've been looking at all these websites, and can we do this and can we do that? No, God damn it, you can't do this and that, because in our proposal, now this, Roger, this is where your communication with the buyer comes in, and it becomes extremely important. In that proposal, okay, that's where you nail it down. And what you do is, customization comes with such a penalty, right? I mean, you don't call it a penalty, but it comes with such a penalty that people either don't customize, or if they do customize, then they absolutely do not screw around. They don't screw around, or at least the worst thing is you're getting paid just out the yin yang for a little bit of customization. So that's part of the issue too. So no customization. And to further answer this and get into what James is asking, stuff I like to sell, I do like to sell websites, okay, but I charge more money for them than the average person. I like to sell email marketing. This is, let us manage your active campaign account, let us manage your, your Aweber account, your whatever account you have. I like to excuse me, I like to upsell. This is an upsell. I like to upsell with press releases and a few other things like that. In other words, the stuff that I sell is stuff where I could walk up to any business owner, anybody, even the person who could barely check their email. Like it's got to pass two tests. It must be already understood by the person for the fulfillment, Roger. Hang on a sec. It's got to be already understood by the person buying it. And you know, the websites do, you know, you do have to manage that scope creep, right? You do have to manage that scope creep, but yeah, all of that stuff. I mean, look how simple this is. Okay, websites. Okay, you got to manage scope creep, but who do I do websites with? Well, I got an in-house person. Okay, I just happen to be big enough to have an in-house person to handle all that stuff. What would you do if you didn't have an in-house person? And because that takes some growing and it takes a lot of extra cash to do that. That's where you A, charge more money, and B, you've got to really manage the scope creep. Your goal is to, when you sell a website, to, by God, get paid for it. A lot of money, because it's going to be a pain in the butt. All right. So websites, I don't, you know, happy to go longer on this webinar because I spent 15 minutes talking about housekeeping stuff, but I still want to keep it fairly short. Websites require some stuff. They require a graphics person. That's Fiverr. Okay. They require a writer. You can get very good. Fiverr's my go-to place. I mean, I have some in-house stuff, but before I used to hire people through Fiverr, through Upwork, etc. stuff, Reddit. All right. What you have to manage though is, see, here's the deal, Roger. You don't want to have to think through stuff ever again after you do it the first or second time. So that's what's killing you probably is, you know, you sell a new thing and then you got to think through shit, right? Or maybe you sell a package deal of a whole bunch of stuff and then you got to think through shit. Don't do that. Think assembly line, right? Roger says, yes. I know, I've been there, man. I made all of these mistakes in glorious detail. But think assembly line. It's kind of like this. If I go buy a new car, and they don't have exactly the color I want, well, yeah, they can get me one, but my God, it's going to cost a ton of money to get that color. And then I have to choose from some book, and then it's going to take 2-3 months for the car to get shipped to me. It's a pain in the neck. I might as well just buy a color that I kind of sort of like. That's what you want to get down to. So I think I answered the question as much as I can on this webinar, Roger. I probably have left you hanging a little bit, but I hopefully given you the flavor of how you should be thinking through this. Okay, James, this is the kind of stuff you want to be selling. There are other things to sell, but James, all of them, cookie cutter. I mean, email marketing is so freaking easy. Look, use their autoresponder, or use, you know, or I'd set up a, you know, we set up a new account for them, right? We set up a new account for them. Okay, that really doesn't take that long, all right? And then import emails if they're not already there, and then hire a writer. Hello, Fiverr. You can get really good writers now on Fiverr now that they've gotten rid of the gotten rid of the it has to be $5 thing, right? I mean, you can go for the higher price writers, double their price to your client when you're figuring out all this stuff. Ken, thank you, buddy. Ken's great. Webby, plan to attend next week. I'm going to be here every Monday, and we're going to do this thing, and it's going to be the best thing ever. But I will see you next week. But I mean, just think through how simple email marketing is, right? So think through how you would communicate with, you know, your client for that. You're not going to get on the phone and have a 50-minute conversation about, well, what kind of sales do you have coming up this week? And, well, I think we ought to do this and that. No, you just have one thing that you do. I mean, I sell one email per week, okay? Figure it out for 3 months. It's going to take about an hour to figure it out for 3 months. 1 email per week. I get the email written down. We get writer writes it. We load it up. I mean, I just get the whole damn thing loaded up. We load it up per month, right? Okay, so load up this month, load up next month, load up next month. I mean, all you're doing is loading up 4 emails, guys. And then, bam, we're good to go. Pay me, we load them up. Pay me, we load them up. That kind of thing. That's what you want. Don't try to be everything to everybody. And don't try to, this may come out sounding wrong, but don't try to, look, guys, 80% of really good internet marketing will make a phenomenal change in a business, and that last 10 or 20% on top where you could have done this or you could have done that, or let me sharpen my saw some more, you're not getting paid for it, so don't do it. Okay, that would be the it and all about it. Janice has a restaurant website client who wants to update the pricing on all of his plates, many items. What do you think would be a good price to charge for this type of update? Janice, that would actually take well, number one, you got to figure out what the plates are, right? And how much the price is. So that's an email, right? I'm just taking you through what I would think about this. Number two, another thing you guys need to do is quit doing everything yourself, okay? Just take a little hit in your income and start getting other people to do it, all right? You don't have to hire somebody, 40 hours a week. Just Fiverr is a beautiful, beautiful thing now for us, okay? So just get somebody to go into there and change that. So you'd have to figure out what the prices are. You'd have to find somebody with enough I'm guessing it's a WordPress site. If not, God knows, does anybody use Joomla anymore? I don't know. But somebody with, just figure out what kind of platform it's on, and somebody with enough experience with that. And so then you hire somebody to, you hire them in advance. You don't pay them. You talk to them in advance and say, okay, we need to update all these prices. How long is that going to take, and what would you charge me? And I would at least double that. Lee Cole's probably going to triple it or quadruple it, okay? But see, that for doing that, I mean, that's going to take, see, here's the deal. This gets back to what Roger's saying. That's going to take you, Janice, very little time to do that, so that you, Janice, get back to prospecting, to talking to, to going to network meetings, to getting on LinkedIn and all that stuff. It's going to get you back into selling. You want to stay in selling mode like as much as humanly possible, okay? And in my experience, that's like 70 or 80% of your working hours. You want to stay in selling mode. So Matthew says, what's wrong with the car that's vomit green? That's pretty funny. Dylan, yeah, this is what we're doing on the replay, okay? Because I don't have y'all on a list. I don't, it's not a product that you bought. There's no members area. So the best way I can figure out to do this right now is you subscribe to my YouTube channel, which, by the way, has just a massive ton of really great stuff on it. And then you will, I'm going to put all of these replays on a playlist. It'll say Monday morning free, whatever. It'll be obvious. It'll be on a playlist. And then you guys can go there and you can, you can check it out and look at it. Okay. Let me read Matthew's question. Then we'll wrap it up, guys. This has been fabulous. I think this is a wonderful inaugural Q&A session. And again, a little too much time on housekeeping, but it's the first one. And I think that, we're going to hit the ground running next time. Matthew, I'm going to get to you in a sec. Have your questions ready. Be thinking about during the week, God, man, I wish I could ask this, or I should ask that, or whatever. And also be checking back to the, give me about a day to get the recording up on YouTube, but be checking back there, because it will be there and it'll be a wonderful resource for you. And I am committed to doing this every Monday at 3 o'clock. In general, we're going a little long here because I had to forget him. that's my buddy there. But you know, because I had to talk a little too much about, you know, getting us going. But in general, we're going to say, hi, how you doing? Let's have the questions. Bam, 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 bam. Awesome stuff. Pop it in YouTube. By the next day, it will be there for you. Matthew says, with that restaurant example, repricing their plates, then it's going to drive any new sales for the owner. So even without guaranteeing or hinting at results, I would only do that gig to win higher value work. Amen to that, albeit cookie cutter per Lee's advice. Yeah. Now, Janice, you may, I mean, in all fairness, Janice, you may be being paid a monthly thing, okay? Like a monthly retainer type thingamabob. But if you're not to do stuff like that, I would certainly move in that direction, okay? You got to really manage the hours, though. Okay, and so much of this stuff, guys, just comes through excellent communication with your clients. You know, like instead of you know, pay me $1,000 a month and I'll fix your website stuff. Pay me $1,000 a month and I will do any of these 7 things, right? To where you get it down to that and you make it real clear that anything beyond that scope. And those 7 things, by the way, guys, would be the things you can outsource very easily, all right, that you already know who's going to do it. Oh, you need some content written? I already got 3 writers here that I love from Fiverr, and I got a little form here that you fill out. Send them the form, they fill it out, the client. Send the form to the writer that you already, you know, got on, and you get paid. Well, we're doing the retainer thing, so you already got paid. And send the form to the writer, and then like 2 days later, you get your, you know, you get your 500 word piece of web copy back. Pop it up for them. You're good to go. See, start thinking like that, guys. The big issue here is don't do stuff that takes a lot of steps. Even if you think it's something that they need, do not do that. Okay, there are some automobiles that are still made by hand. I think a Rolls-Royce is. I'm not sure. Maybe, I mean, they certainly use machines, but I don't know. But maybe they, you know, maybe they have some sort of assembly line. I don't think some old English guy sits around in a garage and makes one, but you know what I mean, you know. So that's one thing. But you know, if you want a Ford or you want a Honda, it's coming off the damn assembly line. And I'm sorry, your Civic has, your Accord has, you know, like certain features, and you pay for those features. And if you don't like that, too bad. Well, guys, if you want a nice business, Honda has a nice business. So that's my point. Get out of custom. Get out of I'm your guy, I'm your gal to do all this stuff, and get into, think about it like this, guys. Let me leave you with this, then I will, Roger says this is one of the best Q&As I've ever been on. Thanks a lot. Leave it like this, guys. Quit thinking of your customers, the people that you sell to, quit thinking of them as clients and start thinking of them as customers for various product lines. This is a sea change in how you think, okay? So now you're not trying to find somebody who just needs some crap done. And even if they pay you very well, it still gums up the system. Now you sell press releases. Now you sell any of these 20 websites. Now you sell, you know, some of the other stuff I talked about, and that's what you sell, and that's all that you sell, right? Okay, so that's what this company sells. This company sells email marketing, and the way we do it is yada, yada, yada. And you don't have to call them a customer, you call them a client, but treat people like customers. They either buy the thing that you're selling or they don't buy. That's the deal. Don't go massaging stuff just to make a sale. Very tempting. It's fine at first, but you know, that will gum up the works, and you will hit a ceiling. Awesome, guys. That's awesome, Matthew. I appreciate that. Awesome, guys. First one's in the book. We're going to keep it down to 30 minutes next time, but then I won't sit here, you know, chewing the fat with you about how we're going to do this next time. Be thinking of your questions. Get on the webinar next week. You're already registered. I will resend you the emails, And I'm just totally excited about this. I'm more excited about this than I've been about anything in a long time. I love you. Thank you for being in my business. Thank you for being in my world. Just think about how I can help you, and I'll do so to the best of my ability next week. Y'all have a great day.